Welcome to another week of Off the Lips here at the Green Room. Today we're very excited to have Tanja Lategan joining us from the JBay Recycle Project. I'm sure obviously she'll tell you more about it now, but it's an organisation that's based just here in our neighbouring suburb, Holsworth, and it's a different project, not your average recycling project, so she's going to be telling us a little bit more about what they do and her involvement with the program. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so I thought to start by playing this video that the Beautiful News did on us a few years ago. I just thought it would sum things up quite nicely, and I don't have to talk so much.
Looks sad.
The best thing you can give a child is love and a sense of purpose. My name is Tanja, and I'm the coordinator of the JBay Recycling Project. The way that the recycling swap shop works is the children can bring in recyclable materials and they can swap for things that they need or things that they want. Most of the children who participate are from disadvantaged backgrounds, but any child is welcome. The project empowers them by providing them with a way to earn what they need, so they feel like they're not receiving a handout. The child is working for the items that they buy in the shop. The children also learn a sense of looking after the environment, because the whole exercise of collecting recyclable material cleans up the areas around where the children live. Through a love for the environment, we are empowering the youth.
Okay, so we started, the recycling project started after some friends visited Hermanus, where the lady Mary van der Velde, who developed the concept initially, they went to visit her in 2010, and then we just got together, chatted about it, and decided we have to try this. Started quite small. Now we have a community centre that we can use, and we've been going for over 10 years. So obviously we have challenges. Poverty and pollution are two of the huge challenges that we have in this community and obviously in the greater world as well. So the idea is to use pollution as a resource, so to address poverty, and specifically poverty amongst children, who are in impoverished circumstances. But as you saw in the video, any child is welcome as long as they are willing to get in the line, follow the rules. Nobody is turned away. The youngest children are about 3 or 4 years old, but generally most of them are school-aged children. So, for example, the kids bring in, so they have to separate the materials that they bring in. Plastic separate from glass, separate from cardboard and tin. Sorry, Henry, we've got a step-by-step process that I'm supposed to take you through. So they collect, people ask, where do they get the recycling from? Just look outside. We get in 1 ton of recycling on a Monday would be a very quiet day. Normally it's 1.5 to 1.8 tons. The most we ever got in was 3.4 tons in one day. That was a very long day. So we start after school on Mondays. The kids during the week collect what they can from around them. The parents are permitted to help them, bring the stuff to site with them, but only the children go into the shop. So the children come to the table, the registration table. They receive a card. We just record their name and surname. It's also a way for us to check that the child is able to identify themselves and also able to make their own decisions, because they don't go with the parents into the swap shop. So, you know, the 2-year-old can't choose for themselves really what they want. So the registration card, their name, and we also use that obviously to see how many times the child visits the project. And also if they want to save. We try and really encourage them to save. You know, a lot of adults don't have that skill. So, to learn it from primary school age is obviously a great skill to have and for the rest of your life. At the scale, we weigh the separate materials, like I said, and we have a formula that we use. So plastic is, obviously the most harmful to have in the environment. So for 1 kilogram of plastic, they receive 2 mula. Just to give you an idea, I've got a little school uniform here. I have to show you the shoes, because this is the smallest school shoe you get. That is like for a 5-year-old. And this is for Makukanya school, the isiXhosa language school here. And this would cost the child, I worked it out, 39 mula, which is 20 kilos of plastic, which, that will give them that whole uniform. And that is going to be about 700 bottles. So, no, I'm lying. Sorry, I'm completely overestimating. It was about 270 bottles.
It's about 10 bags of like that.
10 of those bags. So one of those bags will weigh about 2 to 3 kilos. So, it's achievable to, most kids would buy what they need as they need it. But if they, for example, want to save for a bicycle, a small bicycle, the 12-inch one, for the little kids would be 100 mula, which is 50 kilos of plastic. I'm just using plastic, but if it's glass, it's the other way around. It's 2 kilos for a mula, because obviously glass, 3 bottles will weigh a kilo already. So that's that. I think a lot of you probably know exactly at the scale. It helps us every Monday. Then the kids wash their hands, because obviously they've been handling the recycling, and we normally have something for them to eat. If they bring their own shopping bag, I'm sure you all bring your own shopping bags. Every bags at the grocery store, they receive an extra mula. So that's an encouragement to them. And also, we don't give out bags because we don't want to create more waste. So that each child gets their own shopping assistant to help them. That's involved. Some of you might have met her. She's been in town for a couple of months. And they can choose. We have toiletries, non-perishable food, stationery, toys, and then clothing. Most of the casual clothing is donated. We can't really afford to buy new items. There's a few things that we try to have sort of bigger, higher value items, like for example soccer boots, so that to encourage the kids to save for something. So it teaches them that saving skill. They can choose what they want. For the small kids, maybe the parents are allowed to give them a little list, but the child still gets to pick what it is that they need. So yeah, it's like an eye-opener. You go, a lot of people are a little rattled afterwards, because you're not used to seeing a small child spend their hard-earned mula, is the currency we use, on a bar of soap, because they don't have soap at home. They wouldn't take it if they didn't. So it's a way for us to help them achieve something, but it's also a big education for volunteers that come there. So yeah, in the shop, and then as I said, we have afterwards we have a couple of sponsors, Food Lovers and Woodlands amongst them. Some of the restaurants supply us with fruit and a snack for the child, and they go home with a couple of sachets of milk as well. So that is free, but nothing else is free. And then off they go with their newfound riches to enjoy. At the moment, it's spinning tops are in season. If you go into the street, you'll see the kids are playing spinning tops like crazy. I've been hunting them down all over the province, actually, because I can't keep up with how many, and they've got such skills, you can't believe it. I could just show you, we've got 2 little video clips of the line on Monday, just to give you an idea of, we're averaging about 180 kids on a Monday now. So we start at about 1 o'clock, and we try and finish the line at about 4, because we still need to pack up, count everything so that we can replace stock, and also, but we want the kids to get home before dark. So the kids that have to walk to Ocean View, Ebename, London, we need to send them on their way about 5 o'clock, very latest. So just the queue from Monday. You'll see some kids playing spinning tops outside. That was a spinning top. You spotted it. These municipal bins, we've noticed that we're getting a lot of glass in, and Henry observed the other day, said he thinks the glass, we're getting in more glass, hopefully not because there's more alcohol being consumed, but because the kids can transport it, because obviously glass is heavy, so to bring big feedback like that of glass is impossible for a small child. And they make plans, they have amazing contraptions, prams, trolleys. Yeah, so that's you.
And we do this in what, 3 hours, eh?
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 hours, basically. So we have an electronic scale and a laptop where we record everything. That's JBay, he's been with us. He's been, he's gone back to school. We're sponsoring him so that he can stay in school and finish his trip. That's Kelly, our secretary. Just helping with the line. We try and just move it along by taking the, if it gets very, very busy, then we have kind of a separate, you can do a big turnover if we take the kids with just a little bit of stuff. So we try and just innovate and try to think of ways that we can do things easier, quicker, so we can help with the kids. That's Environment's vehicle over there. They've come to start collecting some stuff. So they normally come on after we finish working or on a Tuesday morning. So they collect all the recycling. We do get funds from them, but that covers about maybe 20% of what we need. And obviously the more people say, how much do you need? It's like, whatever if you give me £5, I can buy something with it for the project. If you give me £5 million, I can also buy something for the project with it. That's kind of it. Funding is, we are registered as an NPO. We have a committee with 5 office bearers. We do our meetings, we've got our own financial statements, all of that. So we are able to receive corporate funding. We are constantly applying, trying to do, we haven't done fundraising as such because obviously in the last 2 years that's been quite tricky. Funding is something that you have to constantly try and bring in. So I wanted to mention the benefits that we see amongst the children, besides the actual physical material that comes in and the child walking out with his spinning top. You see that child, the first time you see them, they're kind of nervous, they don't know what's going on really, so maybe somebody at school has told them, maybe they came with a friend, and they figure out, how it works, they figure it out so quickly, and then you see them gaining confidence and see them feeling valued, and just, that children are entitled to dignity, children are entitled to be safe, that is stuff that we try and convey to them, that they are valued, that they actually are earning something and they are empowered, basically is the, and also, that thing of saying just to dream, and you can achieve, you can buy a bicycle for yourself, it's amazing, and you're like the hero of your own neighborhood, you can own the bicycle. So that was, I don't know, you didn't put this time now. Okay, and then, obviously, what we've achieved so far, that's it. I don't think we've updated that for a month or two, but 75,900 individual visits by children. Some of these kids we've known, maybe a child who's 15 now, has been visiting us since they were 5. You've literally seen them growing up in front of us. They visited the project. Some of them we do the registration card, takes 50 visits. Some of them have 4 registration cards. So that's, we've seen them 150, 200 times already. So it's really nice. It's a way to connect us to our community. And then, the reason why I'm here is obviously also to see what we can get from you guys. We need volunteers. So on average we need, I would say if we've got 8 people on site, that's very tight. That's the kids queuing, the kids having to wait a long time. So if we have extra volunteers, even if you have an hour in your lunchtime to come and help us set up, or an hour from 4 to 5 to help us pack up and count stock, that's fantastic, And people really have, rave about the experience because it's enjoyable. You feel like you're doing something directly to help, not just sitting back and thinking, well, I also have problems. There's no better therapy than seeing somebody else who's trying to help somebody else who's in a position less fortunate than yourself. And then obviously please share our info. I've put some brochures out. We've got a poster that Steffi's kindly agreed to put up somewhere for us, just with some information about if you want to volunteer. And then the snacks that we have at the end of the day, we at the moment have 3 restaurants who've again agreed to help us with snacks. So we have a 4th Monday in the month usually, where we don't have somebody making food. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, if you want to get on board and do that for us once or twice, that would be fantastic. And then skills, sometimes people come with a suggestion, they say, well, this is how you can streamline something. And I think, it's practical. We try it and it works amazingly well. So please, if you just can pop in one day and say, okay, well, I think I have an idea. Please don't say, you know what you should do. Okay, so that's basically it. If anybody has any questions. I didn't start it personally. In fact, I think the 2 women who started it, Karina and Salomine, they're cousins, and Salomine was the president of Rotary, so they helped a lot with funding, and they did a lot of it out of their own pockets. I mean, we could all see the benefits, but to start, you do need to have. But I mean, I think most of us who are still involved, I know Kelly, from the first day, you can't. If once you see the value in it, you're like hooked. I'm like, I don't work on Mondays. I have 3 jobs, but this is what I do on Mondays. Please don't phone. It just you see that you're actually making a real difference. That from the moment you see the concept in real life, you're like, okay, well, this is input. It's not monetary. It's something that's got to be done. Look, because we are benefiting children, we want to make it achievable for them. It's not okay for if you can structure the project for adults, but then it would be much more it would be subsidized. Ours is very much subsidized because we're trying to get the kids what they need. So it's always going to be a non-profit. It's never going to be child labor. Because that's what it would be if you were at a point where the kids only got out what they brought in monetarily. I mean, it would be fantastic if recycling was worth more. A lot of people think that there's money to be made in recycling, and then I say to them, I don't know how long you've lived here, but if I think back 6 or 7 years ago, there were 5 recycling companies in this town. Try and find them now. There's Enviroman and there's Extreme, who I think have the municipal contract. And I think Extreme are only there because the municipality are basically propping them up. So there's not, unfortunately, also because where we are, there's not the distances that you have to send the stuff. What Enviroman do, actually, they have a site outside Cabillos, they compact the stuff and they store it there until they have enough, so that it's worthwhile for them to rent a truck to drive that plastic or whatever it is to Joburg or Durban, where it can be maybe shipped and hopefully actually recycled. Occasionally we have international funding. It's an ongoing process. We have actually just now, I've completed all the documentation now. We're going to get funding from a UK, it's an organisation called Stewardship, and somebody recommended us. And so we're going to get £500 from them every quarter for 2 years. So it's not a huge amount of money, but that helps a lot. It really, £500 will give us almost a stock for a month, which is fantastic, you know. Locally, we've had, one of our biggest supporters has been JBay Wind Farm, but they've now last year decided that they're going to change their focus. They funded us for 9 years, and they've decided to change their focus more to early childhood development, which a lot of, you know, the funders are obviously entitled to put their money where they, if they think there's a new area. I know a lot of, like Lotto, for example, now are concentrating a lot on mental health, which is fantastic, which also needs funding, you know. So you kind of then have to find other sources. We are applying to Lotto, but it's a Lotto.
Yeah, and I think this concept glass, there's so many.
There are a lot of now. There are a lot of similar swap shop projects. So, for example, there's one in Syria, there's one in Colchester, there's one in Utenay, you know, there's one in Durban, Little for Tokens, there's one in Sasolburg, there's one in Sedgefield, yes, and Nice, I think, Rotterdam. Some of them may be funded by those companies, but I'm not sure. We get funding, we don't get funding, we get product from Woodlands. And I mean, I feel like, you know, that's at least something worth them putting back, because they are creating waste, you know. And ideally, those companies, personally, I feel they should take responsibility until, you know, after the end of life of their product. They need to actually take responsibility for the waste. But there's no legislation forcing them. So, you know, if it's going to cost you money and you don't have to do it, you're not going to do it, you know, unless you are really philanthropically inclined. So capitalist, unfortunately, it's I wish there was legislation to force it, but at this stage, no. There's so many. I'll probably think of 50 examples as I drive away. But one of the really nice things is that which is really heartwarming, is when you see the kids buying for these siblings, buying something for, you know, they buy a blanket for their granny, you know, they club together, you know, 3 kids will each put their mullah together and say, okay, now we're buying this for mommy and for granny, you know, that's really, yeah, mind-blowing. And I've even seen some of the kids actually save together, like 3 teenage boys saving together, and they buy a bicycle together, and they each get a week with bikes. So, you know, you can, which I think is, I wouldn't have thought a child could they would be able to share like that, you know. And they made a plan, and they got the bike quicker, and then I think they saved up for the second boy, and then for the third boy. So that's how, you know, it's that's something that's applied in their lives. I think we did actually. I mean, Apiwe, who came to visit us from there was a boy. I mean, he's an adult now, so I can mention his name. He has a disability. He has an arm, basically. He was born with a defective arm. Can't use the hand or the arm at all. And he used to come to us, and we always made a big fuss with him. And you know, it was we really made him feel like important. And he's gone on. He did an internship at the municipality to become an electrician, and he's working in JBay, and he came to visit us. He came 3 times earlier this year to visit and to volunteer, and he specifically said to us, and I still said to Henry we should record him, and he just said, you know, you guys made me feel like so valued. It was, I think his family kind of, you know, he's from a broken home, and I think he didn't feel like, you know, he would amount to anything, and we made him feel like he could, and now he's got a job he works for Eskom. It's pretty good salary.
But our touch points with them are very brief.
Yeah.
If you think about their life, they come to us on a Monday, we'll interact with one child for 10 minutes of interaction. So it's very brief, like the amount of time that we get a chance to instill like other values other than addressing the immediate needs that they're facing at that point in time. But I mean, I'm sure you feel, and I'm sure Kelly feels as well, like over a prolonged period of time, you have to believe that these values are being installed, and that it's going to make a difference. And then we find out, many years later that it does. So, but you can't gauge it.
Just the hand washing alone, just teaching the kids to wash their hands before they eat. I mean, everything is about your frame of reference. If this is not something that you've been taught in your home, if you don't have running water in your home, where are you washing your hands? And you can literally see there are fewer kids now with running noses in winter because they wash their hands before they eat. And it's the simplest thing.
Awesome. I'm going to cut it there. That's cool with everyone. Thanks again, Tanja.